Are you a Clone Hero competitive player or viewer? In particular, the type of competitive that involves pushing the skill ceiling and FCing increasingly fast in complex patterns and songs. Most big names or top players in this part of the community have switched games, stopped playing seriously, or simply quit entirely. The community is completely decentralized, and it's hard to know what to put your time into anymore. Did we just get bored, or did something else happen? Well, I have a couple theories as to why this happened, and I'd like to talk about it a little bit. But that's a little scary. I feel like this is why nobody really puts their voice out anymore. In the past, there has been extreme hostility when it comes to expressing opinions publicly, especially since it was often reserved for particularly sensitive topics. Drama has been commonplace in this community, and Twitter has been the hub for this sort of thing. One former community member in particular, a sort of figurehead/community leader, was a catalyst to a lot of this. And no, it's not Shmooey. The person I'm referring to has been excommunicated from the community, so I'll just say that once the Shmooey cheating situation was uncovered, this person was considered by many to be the best player from 2021 to 2024. Got it? No? Too bad, I don't feel like getting into that whole thing. But ever since this person was excommunicated, things have been very quiet, for better and for worse. The rate of unnecessary, personal discourse happening in public spaces has dropped dramatically. However, there also seems to have been a dramatic drop in enthusiasm for the game in general. I think part of this has to do with community-wide communications coming to a screeching halt. People don't want drama anymore, but I don't think that's enough reason to not create discussion, so I hope this video releases some tension. My main point is that for the better part of the last year, there hasn't been a definitive top level of gameplay to strive for. This means a couple different things. I think the obvious thing that this is referring to is a lack of a best player or high-level competition to raise the bar and motivate low and mid-level players. The number of top players who have been caught cheating, or excommunicated for other reasons, has ruined the community's reputation, and caused a hesitation to trust any upcoming player that shows promise. However, another thing with this is, the player I mentioned earlier had a unique playstyle for their level, one that didn't seek to abuse the leniency of Clone Hero to get away with excess inputs, spamming. A large subset of the game's audience was, and still is, interested in clean gameplay like this, but it's becoming increasingly scarce. It's not the player's fault, though. Clone Hero's design has always favored inaccurate gameplay due to the fact that it does not punish players for making extra inputs. Engine abuse has existed forever, but it got a lot worse when high polling rate controllers came around. Because of that, it's just easier to do more inputs than necessary, but the end result can look pretty messy. If the hardest accomplishments require this sort of gameplay, that is what people will look up to and strive for, pulling the game's playstyle further away from accuracy. I think this is what has ruined the appeal of this skill for a lot of spectators. We don't have to downgrade our controllers to fix this, however. Clone Hero developers are in the midst of revising the ghost input detection system. This will more appropriately identify when extra inputs are made, and lower score as a result. As opposed to changing the hit detection itself to force players to not ghost, this approach was taken to not put off those who've pushed the existing engine over the years, but instead lightly encourage them to spam less. Also, the way these changes to the system have affected the no ghosting modifier should definitely encourage players to use it. As someone who FC'd Supernovae Solo F on the current no ghosting modifier, the ghost detection in place is far too tedious to actually help people learn how to play tapping songs accurately or cleanly. My limited experience with the new modifier's ghost detection is enough to tell me that it will be much more helpful in that regard when it is finalized. If you haven't tried it yet, join the official Clone Hero Discord in the description and opt in to PTB announcements, but be prepared for some lag and input flickering, as this build is not final. The confusion with this game today also has to do with the songs we play. With the advent of Moonscraper, just about anybody can make and release a chart for any level of play. The quantity of hard charts has skyrocketed, with little quality assurance. I don't think this is an issue on its own. People can do what they want, I'm not gonna tell you you can't make a song for the hell of it. However, with there being minimal standardized setlist releases for this genre, these individual releases hold equal importance to major, quality-assured setlists. The most played charts end up being individual releases played by a top player or major personality, which have wildly varying quality, and can be a headache to track down. On the other end of the spectrum, setlists like Fatty Hero collect just about every chart the creator can find and put them in one place. It's good for providing options, but with a lack of quality assurance, it becomes hard to tell what's worth playing. So what should we do instead? I propose smaller, perhaps fixed-size, centralized setlist releases with playtesting, where songmakers can submit for approval. Perhaps, and this is a weird idea, a songmaker is not allowed to submit a song if they do not tech FC it, or if a playtester who does tech FC it disapproves of the quality. I'm not fully happy with this idea, but it's an approach that could make sense. Aside from the universal quality assurance, though, there is a setlist that does something like this: Community Track Pack. However, the playtesting process has proven to be quite confusing, and releases have slowed dramatically as a result. Trying to assign a single skill set and difficulty grade to a song is quite challenging, especially with so many songs to look through and the complexity that comes with assigning a skill set and especially a grade to a song. I've been brainstorming a solution to this problem. What I'd like to do is automate the process of assigning difficulty to songs. This would solve other issues as well, such as the subjectivity of the grade system. Debates have come up recently reconsidering the difficulty grades of some of the most well-known customs ever made. If these songs still have to be discussed, the same likely should be said for any other song. I think this ambiguity is yet another reason people don't know what to play. This program would attempt to take everything into account in evaluating difficulty, and provide a level of objectivity to the grade system that I think it needs with the sheer quantity of custom songs out there. The initial categories for evaluation I've come up with are as follows: speed, complexity, consistency, stamina. This could be visualized as a radar graph, giving an easy-to-understand skill set overview of a song in a single image, in places where a single number grade wouldn't do it justice. I truly don't believe people stopped caring about this kind of gameplay. The way we engage with this game has just shifted, and it's made it tough to follow along. With these things in mind, I think it's possible for the scene to grow again. But I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'll read and respond to any thoughts you all have.